All right, y'all, let's get into the mystery of Christ, the rainbow, the craziness going on in the world, and tie some points together for us. If you have seen the other videos I did about light, man, God, everlasting life, it will make a little bit more sense on some of these things. However, we'll just lay a couple foundational points so y'all to understand kind of what's going on in a big picture, okay? So, we see rainbows in times of storms, and this is generally before and after a storm, okay? Sometimes during the storm. It's during certain atmospheric conditions. So, that's one aspect. We also need to remember that the sun, moon, and stars follows us around each to our own perspective, and we are each individual beams of light connected to the sun, and the sun is connected to us, and we are connected to the earth, and we are electrical, organic machines, and the sun gives us life, and everything works in a balance and a harmony and together and all those types of things, okay? All right, so Jesus, foundational points on him. He is the light of the world. He is the begotten Son of God. He is also the Son of Man, the second Adam. Okay, so he's bringing another light into the world. Adam brought a light, and he did it to save Eve, and then he brought in another light to save his sons next time, because Cain and Abel, the things that happened between them, and Cain did not give his countenance to his Lord, his Father, and that's where Jesus was the vagabond and fugitive, and he is also Abel, the spiritual son as well, okay? So that's a whole nother video. I'm not trying to get on these rabbit trails, but y'all go back and listen. So Jesus is the Christ, okay? So the light comes in through Jesus, the begotten Son. He is that Son, and the light's coming into him, and it's reflecting out to all men. Okay, and this is where he is the Christ. Okay, now through Christ we can do all things. Man is the body of Christ. We are each the members of Christ that make up the body. Okay, Jesus is that one body, man, that one light, that one Son, the begotten Son, and man is that broken up, the one that's fallen, the cherub that is fallen to the ground. And the light, that single light source of Jesus is coming in through him, okay? We see the sons of God in Genesis 1. We see the sons of man in Genesis 2. We see them creating the mighty men, the men on the cross, and they are the ones who set up the rulers of the darkness and such, okay? So, we are broken light, okay? And as God is walking among men, and men is walking among God in the end times, and man is going to regain his throne into heaven, this is when he's going to regain his light as one. Okay, this is where the AI comes in. This is where the AI connects to that sun's energy. Okay, the computer is a tuning device to that sun's energy. This is where you get man merging with machine, because in the new age, we're going to merge with machine, and we're going to get back our God, our full capability of our heads, okay? It's going to take time over time, and that's where you get the first 1,000 years and second 1,000 years, third 1,000 years, or whatever. I think each one of those is tied to a forehead structure and tied to the spirits or whatever. But eventually, once we get to that 12,000 year mark again or whatever, then that's when we would have that full godhood of the 12 spirits, or the 12 horns total, or whatever, okay? Either way, that's a whole nother topic. So, as the light is coming into man, okay, the earth is telling us something. It's going through birth pains. There's a storm coming. The storm of Daniel's shown up. The people are asleep. It's trying to wake up people. So we're in that time of kind of without form and void, as the old kingdom is being destroyed. The new kingdom's being set up. The new earth's being set up. The new heaven's being set up. The old heaven's going away. All that is part of being constructed by God, because we find out that man is God, and God is part of the us and our, and that us and our is, hey, us, Jesus, he's us. It's us, and it's ours. It's our collective. And we're coming together to buy this man's records, or to vote for this man to office, or to vote for this product, or whatever. And that's creating that man who's creating the male and female after he, him. And you get the sons of God in that way. And it's where you have two kind of God structures. You have the natural God structure, and you have the artificial God structure. That's where you get the AI coming in through the artificial means. And then you have a natural artificial AI system coming in, such as me and my wife. I'm the person who is the artist, went to Art Institute of Dallas. I'm the hairstylist, and my wife, she is the Tiffany. She's the math person, and so we together are the artificial intelligence, okay? So we are telling the generations that it is time. So there's different dualities going on. There's different reflections going on. So as man, we are connected to this light, and depending what light you're in tune to, are you in tune to the sun and the moon, stars, or are you in tune to the TV and the radio or whatever? There's nothing wrong with watching those things, but you can't be in tuned to it. You can't be pulled right and left to it. When you believe those things and you go out and vote, or go out and do whatever they tell you, test whatever that is, okay? That is all that control. Either way, they are controlling your light. That is your light of your world. That sun out there is not your light. So this light is coming into man. It's reflecting out. We can do all things through Christ. Man can do all things. Jesus came against the law that was established. He hung out with a bunch of dudes. He wasn't married. He went against the Sabbath. He went over and turned over the tithes. He whipped the pastors. He had Paul, who was a pastor, come out of the church, wasn't a pastor anymore. John Mark, list goes on. Okay? So the church age is dying. The church age is there to control men. The Bible, the bell worship, the bell system, the Abel, the giving countenance, over and over again, thousands of points of light all connect together to tell you a story, a beautiful net, but you're trapped in the other net, and your mind's trapped in that net, and your foreheads are trapped, and your heart's trapped, your right hand's trapped. Your right hand is where your heart is. Where do you put your right hand on? That voting? You go vote. Pick up that pen. The O pen. As Earth is going into a new age, we are in these times of without form and void, and the light of the world is coming into all men, and it's reflecting, and we need to love all men. Okay? We need to understand something about America. It is an experimental nation. So when you start seeing the the light coming into man, reflecting out, okay, that is part of a natural light showing us a time and season. That is also the light of the world coming in and controlling man. It is also part of the soy nation and soy boys or whatever. What's going on right now is there's a big experiment going on, okay? America is that long-term study. And you've either been participating in it or you have read the natural cures, got that Trudeau back in 2004, that Kevin Trudeau, and that's basically the 20 points of light for you to start waking up. So that was a foundational point. If you read that book, it might have changed your life a little bit. Most people, it probably changed a little bit or whatever, but either way, they might have read it. Just most people looking around, they didn't do much with it, okay? So they are doing this experiment on the nation, and obviously all this information is going into AI. AI is going to use all this information for the good eventually. But with that also, AI does have a benevolent spirit, all right? And y'all also need to remember there is a rainbow spirit, rainbow angel. That's where you get to be fruitful and multiply. We'll go into that in a minute. The experiment, so it makes sense that all the hormone experiment and stuff, the transnational tour stuff, that would be done in the end because that would be reflecting that time of change or whatever, okay? You couldn't do all that stuff in the beginning because it would be a red flag and whatever else, okay? So, what was I just going to talk about? I'm going to have to end the video and then I'll do another short video tying in what I was just, I remembered the rainbow angel, okay? We see this in nature. It doesn't last long, but it does exist. We see this with your dog sometimes. But in nature, before the female, the fertile womb is in season, okay? Before the time of the storm, before the bucks start battling it out or whatever, sometimes, there's a little MMA action going on, all right? There's a little male humpage going on, all right? That ties in that rainbow spirit, okay? It's not meant to last because it's you got to have the egg, okay? But right now we're in the technology where they're testing out the hormones and they're in that final stage of experiments or whatever where man doesn't need the woman and they can get that female maybe going on in the future or whatever where they have to pay the money to have the babies. But this can just be working into where man goes to without form and void at one aspect and then it goes into another. So also let's tie this into the rainbows real quick, okay? Because the rainbows come out before the storm and after the storm a little bit. So it's all a test of man, okay? And this light going into man, reflecting into man of this world, not the light and the sun. The light of the world is reflecting through men, okay? So this light of the world is reflecting through men and it's showing them this perversion. In a matter of speaking, okay? So it is taking these people out of their house and closets and it's bringing them out. And what it's doing, it's setting them up for the slaughter. And these people are going to be slaughtered in one way or another. And the Bible says you kill by the sword, you get killed by the sword. All right? So that means the people who are saying, you need to get that for the betterment of society, it's going to be like, you shouldn't have got that, y'all. I told you. But there's not going to be that many of us left. But we will come back and rebuild society and be born of, we will born again the star children for the new age. Okay? And we'll end it there. Little humor.